Last one in our series is basically a frame against some type of grappling situation, some type of tackle, a crude tackle at least, or some type of standing clinch. Now, if a guy has, a great low single leg or an ankle pick or something like that and has great grappling technique, can't help you. There's not too much we can do about that. But your generic average Joe type of tackle, we can do a lot to delay or deter that simply by using that startle flinch response that we talked about in some of our other techniques. So, for example, if I'm just this close, if the minute I start to lunge to reach for Lisa, it's very natural for, again, startle flinch, her hands to come up. We're going to build on that motion. When she does, her arms come up like that, she's going to look to put that forearm right in the side of my neck. And she gets lucky, she can really kind of light me up just by doing that. Okay? But this is what we call our frame. Okay? So she's going to make sure she's got the forearm here. Okay? In a lot of our other techniques that we did, one of the things that we didn't explicitly talk about, but is certainly implied, is the principle that where the head goes, the body's going to follow. So, for example, if she does the prey motion and she comes up through the middle to get to my face, I'm attacking you, yeah, right? And I come up, right, and she hits my face or whatever, right? We talked about she should knock me backwards, okay, as we do that. That's because, again, where the head goes, the body should follow. She's getting to my face, controlling, right? We're crashing in, getting ears, hair, eyes, something, and controlling there. The converse is also true, though, okay? Where the head can't go, the body really can't follow. So, as far as, all the other things we looked at were a little bit farther away, but once they get a hold of us and are really close to us, the best thing we can do is try to control the head. Okay? It's the most crude, less technical, but most effective thing we can do. Instead of spending a lifetime on learning how to wrestle or do judo or any of the grappling arts, just control the head, and we get a lot of mileage out of that. Okay, so I come in, right, and she grabs and she gets the frame. Very important point, this elbow has to be down, like on my collarbone, right? If this is too high, if the arm is too straight, and I can duck under that, okay, that's going to be a very different situation for her, okay? So as she frames, she has to make sure that she's very sensitive to the fact, but I really can't grab her, but she has to be very sensitive to me changing the level, okay? So not only does this attack work against, the hug or whatever, the defense work against some type of hugging, clinching type scenario, if I then decide I'm going to go low line, okay, and I'm looking at her feet, so I want to grab her feet, she's going to use this shape to turn into basically a poor man's sprawl. So she's going to kick her feet and legs back as I drive forward. She's got to get this leg out of the way. If I get a hold of the leg, she's going to be in trouble. Right? So she kicks her legs back, and see at this point she's leaning on me. If I were to disappear, she falls to the floor. But she instead is going to use that frame to control my head and steer me to the ground. Okay? And she ends up in a good position, right? Smash my head to the ground or whatever else, okay, and get back up. But the main thing is to make sure she stays on her feet. So she has to keep moving backwards as she steers me to the ground. So we'll scoot back up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go backwards a little here. I come in, boom, I keep working, I keep driving. She keeps driving and steering me down to the ground from there. Okay. Certain situations it might be hard to get that in. If I came up from the side, I get more to the side here. She might have to go over the shoulder to build the frame with the other arm. I don't like that, but again, moral of the story, I don't like it as much, I should say. Okay? But the moral of the story is where the head can't go, the body can't follow, and she can thwart a lot of tackles that way. Maybe at that point, I kind of give up on the whole takedown thing. I just decide to grab her and start throwing her around, which then goes back to the scenario we just talked about, embracing that chaos and that momentum and using that. Maybe this gets stuffed, and I back up, and I decide to come in again. Now she's back into the prey motion, right? So, hopefully it buys us enough time to then change the dynamic, change it to something else.